Well, hello, family. Looks like it's a go. I'm gonna see if I could get my mobile phone to cooperate with my laptop and my desktop. I'm kind of doing the most over here today because one of my apparatuses decided to have a mind of its own. But sometimes some mama said it's gonna be days like that. I'm glad to see you all. I hope you all had a wonderful resurrection weekend, and we are in the midst, the front side of what resurrection should look like. How's it looking in your neck of the woods? Amen. I'm so excited to have a special guest today. I hold her near and dear to my heart. We met about a year ago, somewhere in that neighborhood, and then we were able, with her and one of her great friends, and my wife and these beautiful ladies. I tell you, when they got together, I just had to sit back and just see what God was doing and how He's doing it. And I'm telling you, He's doing the thing, and I'm super excited about it. I'm going to be bringing her on in a few moments, but before I do that, let me get you guys to just share, and we want to make sure that we can hear this testimony over the highways and byways, because I promise you it'll be a blessing to your life. Promise you that. And let me put up on the comments what the subject is tonight. We always like to use a subject. We know that God is up to something good, but tonight we want to particularly call it No Limits. No Limits. Chandrella, we see you there chiming in, sweetheart. It is so good to see you. Tell DJ if you're with him, tell him he needs to pop in on this as well. The conversation is no limits. We need to, two things we need to do. We need to, number one, get out of God's way. And number two, we need to get out of our own way. Take those limits off. Somebody say, take those limits off. Tonight, I have a woman of God who's doing just that. She's well versed, well equipped to tell us the goods, to give us the goods. No limits. Go ahead and put that in the comments and share this with a few other people. I want to ask, let me see who we got here. I want to ask the saints who are watching this to come on in here and share it a couple of times, because we want to make sure the word is getting out. Take the limits off. You don't need to operate with those restraints anymore. It's go time, y'all. It's blessing season. And as you see on the screen, that ambassador bound, you're going to be seeing that for some time. Y'all get used to that. It's winter season, y'all, and we're connecting with people who are already winning and who can take you there because they want to see more people win. So with that being said, I'm going to do a couple of things. First and foremost, I'm going to bring this wonderful woman of God into this proximity to kind of lay out a little bit of bio concern. Hey, Minister Sandy, it's good to see you. Thank you for chiming in to give us a little background bio on her life. We want to get all up into the Kool-Aid for a minute and just have her to share. And then we're going to collaborate on why we both are so personally, passionately persuaded that this is the season, y'all, where we need to understand there are no limits. Lady Lisa is in the house.
Hello.
Hello, woman of God. God bless you.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
I've been inspired even. Hey, Nisi, it's good to see you. Thanks for chiming in. Diggy Kev, God bless you, man. Thank you, sir, for all your blessings. I was inspired by you before I met you, good friend. But then when we sat down at the dinner table and we had lunch and dinner and midnight snacks and everything in between in the bar, I said, this is one classy lady. She got it going on over there. And then when you said that you're going to start building this thing together, I said, my God, that's what I'm talking about right there. Yes.
Well, I was just looking for the right opportunity and the right people. My life and my footsteps and everything is always guided. So I'm always just waiting on the right persuasion. And you have to be that along with auditorium, of course.
Well, I'm gonna have to shout right there. Praise the Lord. Listen, for the benefit of our audience, I got my main man, Omar McQueen, is in the house. All the way, Brooklyn is in the house, y'all. We got Kevin from New York is in the house. We got Minister Sandy and Chandrella, San Antonio. Amen. Y'all let some saints know they need to be in on this conversation. It's a blessing. No matter what city, no matter what state, no matter what nation will be represented tonight. Watch God work this thing out. Lady Lisa, give us some background on you. You know, let us get all up in your business about. I know you're in Alabama and all that, but give us some background.
Yeah, I am in Alabama. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, born in Bessemer, Alabama. But I am a woman of faith, a woman of God, as you often call me.
Yes.
Been walking with the Lord a long time. He was in a relentless pursuit after me, as he was after all of us, I'm sure, most of us. But from a child, God has been after me and had a hold on my life. And there's just many, many testimonies about that. And I've penned it in a devotional that is finished today, as of today. I know, right?
That's all right.
As I talked to the publishers today, Minutes with the Master, and it has minutes in there about how God has been in a relentless pursuit after my life. And it's just been phenomenal, a phenomenal walk with him from childhood to where I am now, from this life in Birmingham, Alabama. God allowed me to stay here and study communications at the University of Alabama, and spent some time here in broadcasting at a television affiliate here for about 5 years. And after I left here, I went over to Georgia, and wow, he just really took the limits off there. Speaking of no limits, the subject matter tonight, but the Lord allowed me to work for him, my first love and my labor of love in communications with Dr. Charles Stanley at In Touch Ministry. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Now, you know, Dr. Stanley has been one of my long term, like from my youth. You actually worked for Dr. Charles Stanley.
Oh my goodness. It was it is the hallmark of my career. I was there for 10 years. I had no idea that the Lord was going to allow me to do that, was going to lead me there. But I found out soon after I got over there. I thought that if I worked at CNN, I went to CNN on a temporary gig, but I thought if I get to the biggest communication house in America or probably in the world, surely I would land a position in my chosen career field, communications. But the Lord had other plans. He allowed me to stay there for about a year. Had a good time there, but he slowly led me into ministry. And that's when I ended up at In Touch Ministries with Dr. Charles Stanley. Started out in his broadcast department and ended up working directly with him. Got to work directly with him. In radio and television, and I spent some time in his marketing department. So for 10 years, I worked in his broadcast department and in his marketing group, and left there after 10 years. But again, it was the hallmark of my career. Studying under him, learning under him was like Bible college without the tuition. It really
I know that's right.
Yeah. There were some days I thought I was going to get tapped on the shoulder and told I couldn't get paid for that. So if you're ever there, I would tell anyone it's a place to tour. It's a place to see. If you know anything about Charles Stanley, you know it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Absolutely.
So when I left there, I went out on my own. I started my own radio show, Game Changers with Lisa Faulkner. Got to talk to phenomenal people like yourself, Pastor Mel, and people like Stacey Abrams, people like just talk to game changers all around, and everyday people who are just pulling themselves up by their bootstraps and changing the game for themselves and others. And did that for about 4 or 5 years. I started my own consultancy, Penn Star Communications, and I still rely on that. It's writing, producing, and marketing. And one of the contracts I did after about 4 years was with Creflo and Taffy Dollar over there in Georgia. And I did that for them for about 3 months, and they asked me to come on permanently with them. So I
Right.
was with them for about 5 years as a senior broadcast producer in Creflo Dollar's broadcast department primarily, but I worked with Taffy Dollar as well. And after about 5 years, that's when I made my way back over here to Birmingham. My mother started having some health issues, and I was coming back over here a lot to check on her. And I was about ready to come back home too. I felt the tug because of mother and some other reasons, but that's when I made my way back to Birmingham. And so I've been just trying to figure things out over here ever since. That was in 2019. I sold my home over there in 2021. And I felt the Lord was telling me that he was not going to give me a break once I got back over here, that he wanted me to not just work in ministry, but to become a minister. So I started looking for a place to do that. And I found this wonderful church home, the Worship Center Christian Church under Bishop Van Moody, where I was able to study and become a minister. And then I've just been looking for other awesome opportunities like the Trevorium Travel Club. And, you know, when you get to marry something as wonderful as the Travel Club with your passion like ministry, there are no better opportunities, because I just believe it really was a godsend, because it came to me in a God way, and I connected with a God person, Sherry Self. And the rest is history, because I do believe that travel is definitely under God's umbrella. It really is. After all, the Great Commission is God's command to travel.
Yeah. Go.
Go. It doesn't get any more simple than that.
I love it. You have blessed. Hey, Catherine, it's good to see you, darling. Nurse Catherine is in the house. Janice Shamper is in the house. Much love to you. Minister Carol Elaine Norris is in the house. Oh, man, we got some beautiful souls coming in today. Tanya Nicole Dillett is in the house. Thank y'all for chiming in. Woman of God, you blessed me to no end with so many different layers. I don't even know which way to go. I don't think we're going to need no PowerPoint. Let's just talk. Let's just talk. You know, we're going to talk. You know, sometimes people, and this is you, and I say this not to joke about it, but the real deal. There are people that you meet them and there's just substance there. You don't know all the dynamics. You don't know all the ingredients, but it was just something there. So you just blessed me with that. Now I have a full appreciation and understanding of your core gifts and your calling, and thank you for making that plain and for sharing that. So that's where you've been. Let's tie it in now to this conversation about no limits. The twin package of ministry and travel. And let me also say it this way, and I'm sure that I have agreement here with you. Sometimes we've messed people up. For the benefit of our audience, I'll explain it this way. We've messed people up when it comes to ministry. We think of ministry only specifically as that which takes place, which occurs within the four walls, the confines of a sanctuary. And that is so far from the truth. Ministry is even the personal time that one might need to go and just sometimes take a break, to relax, to let their hair down, or maybe just grow out, whichever way it needs to go. You know, it's that solitude. It's that sitting by the ocean front. It's that watching the sunrise and watching the stars shine bright in the midnight sky. It's all of that together. Then it's that quality time. If God has blessed you with that soulmate, to spend that quality time together and enhance and enrich your relationship. It's that time, if you have children, to take your children with you, because a lot of folk that have grown up in ministry, they're say it this way, their demise came about as a result because they didn't put their family in the proper position. The family was all last. Sometimes, you know, the church stuff, you know, was in front when it shouldn't have been the lead, because your first ministry is your home.
Yes.
You can't give out what you ain't got.
That's right.
And there are people today, woman of God, that are doing it backwards. And as a result, they soon burn out. And if they don't burn out because they're going after the title, they're going after, the fame or whatever they want to call it, they're going to lose their families. And their children that should have been their first disciples are really going to rebel against that. Maybe they'll come back at another generation, but for 20, 30, 40 years, they're ghost. They don't want nothing to do with the church because they've seen some of the things that was out of order, so forth and so on. So ministry is all of that. It's your person, it's your family. Ministry is how you do if you're employed by someone, how you let your light shine at work. We call that the marketplace. Yeah. So ministry is all those things. So I want you to take that perspective and tie that into this thing that we have our hands on, this worldwide gargantuan travel club called Trevorium. Tie it in.
Well, you're so right. It's the one thing when you started with rest, it's the one thing that God says to labor for. He says to labor to rest. And how else can we do that aside from travel? When we're caught up in the day-to-day, it's just very hard to gain that rest. It's just very hard to gain that perspective. We actually have to steal time to be with God on an everyday basis. We have to get strategic. We have to draw away to be with God. But in travel, when we go and travel, that is a new opportunity to commune with God. It's right there for us because travel is so peaceful. It just takes us into God's creativity. It takes us into his serene opportunities just to be with him. And then he enlightens us on different levels that he doesn't do on an everyday. So travel is definitely built into what God expects from us, to labor, to rest. I mean, he really wants that. And it's really neglectful when we don't rest, when we don't travel. And then the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, all they that dwell therein. I mean, Psalms tell us that. And if we do not take the opportunity to see it, then we're being neglectful as well. And I believe that the Lord wants us to just dwell in the corner that he's given us, because he's given us the earth and the fullness thereof. So he expects for us to take part in it, to experience it. We can sit around and listen to the executives talk about their trips, and the people, the influencers, them take their trip, or we can grab the opportunities that the Lord brings our way to enjoy the earth that he has given us to enjoy. After all, that is what he wants us to do. There are so many scriptures, so many ways that the Lord tells us that he wants us to seize the earth, to take part in the earth, to enjoy the earth. And what you said about family, that's it. If the family, the family unit, I heard a message not long ago that it was so beautiful. The essence was the family unit, the marriage, primarily, it's God's picture of love in the earth.
Yes.
But to reconcile with what you were saying about our first ministry, I definitely can to have a testimony with that as well. I remember when I was in Georgia and I was working at In Touch at the time, but I was also heavily involved in church. I think I was in the choir. I was in the prison ministry. I was in the singles ministry, and I was working in full-time ministry. But my niece was living with me, but my niece was about to graduate high school, so she wasn't really that much of a responsibility. But as she was getting ready to exit high school, my young nephew was coming to live with me, and he was like 7 or 8. And I was like, how am I going to manage it all? So I had asked my sister to come and stay with us so she could help, but I knew that I was the main one. I was bringing him into my home, so I knew I was the main one. And I sat down on the couch. And to ask God, how was I going to do it all? What was I going to do? Because I had taken this step, to bring him home with me, and I sat down to ask God, And I can remember as clear as day, God telling me, you're gonna let some of that go at church.
Yes. Yes.
And the answer was, as I was getting up, he's
Yes.
he's your ministry now.
My God. My
He's your ministry now. And I was like, okay.
mm-hmm.
It was just that simple. It was just that clear. You
That's
asked
what
me, yeah, you asked me before about some of my gifts. My gift is prophecy,
mm-hmm.
teaching, administration.
Mm-hmm.
Well, God, as a prophet, God
Mm-hmm.
is always talking to me.
Right.
So I'm just don't be surprised when I say God told me something, because the only way I prophesy is if the Lord
If
said it.
the Lord said it.
It's only
Right.
if the Lord said it. So I'm
Right.
always looking for the Lord to tell me something.
Right.
And he does. And he said, he's your ministry now.
Mm.
So I started to lay some of those things aside at church, because the family, the unit,
That's it.
is your first ministry.
That's it. Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the uttermost.
Mhm.
How can we handle the uttermost? How can we even handle anything if we're not taking care of Jerusalem?
That's
And
right.
that's where it begins. Thank
And I
you.
learned such valuable lessons with him,
Mm-hmm.
just as if I were still ministering. He taught,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, right,
Oh,
raising that little, yeah,
there's a
that,
world. There's a
yeah,
world within them young folk today. An
yeah,
unexplored world,
yeah,
universe.
yeah, yeah. So I'm right there with you, Pastor Mel.
Thank you so much for making that plain. We got some folk coming in. Bishop Salter, thank you for chiming in. Minister Lisa is in the house as well, and they're all chiming in. First Lady is there. Sasha is here. Praise God.
Hello, my people.
You got the whole crew coming in here just to hear your story. Thank you for making that plain. That blessed me as well. I'm sure it blessed others. So it's connected. Now, what was your introduction into Travorium, this worldwide travel club? And for the benefit of those who don't know anything or much about, hey, Sister Reba, it's good to see you, big sis. Anybody who doesn't really know about this travel club, let me just suffice it and summarize it this way. This club is the Netflix of the travel industry. It has so brought together in a pretty neat package with a bow on top all the travel that you were doing, all the travel that you want to do and ever would intend to do is in this membership package. And it has become so affordable to go places. I'll tell you, when we met in person, we were in Dubai at a 5-star hotel. And I'm gonna let the woman of God look, y'all look, and let every word be established in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. I want her to tell you what type of place it was, and the glory that was in that place, the beauty and whatnot. And we paid all of $99 for 6 days, 5 nights with breakfast for 2. The breakfast alone, retail, was $35 a person. So if you got your guests with you, your wife, your husband, that's $70 times 6. That's $420 for the week with just breakfast. But we got this beautiful room, and our room, oh, good God, I can't remember what floor it was. That thing was so high up there, I can't remember what floor it was. But I'm telling you, all together, we paid $99. So that's what this club does. So I want you now, Minister Lisa, 2 things. Tell us about the ambiance that you experienced and everything that you thought about that hotel we stayed at, your Dubai experience, and also tie it in together to your introduction. What brought you to the space to join and become a member of the club?
Well, you're correct. The hotel there was nothing to complain about. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. If you are that far away from home, that's the type of stay you want. That's the type of hotel you want to stay in. Let me tell you, if you are that far away from home, you don't want that. That's the level you want to stay on.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's anything wrong, I can find it. I apologize. I apologize. That's just the way my eyes go. It makes me a great consultant. I
Right.
told I told you I still Penn Star Communications. I still run to it whenever I need to
Yeah.
fill a gap.
Yes.
It makes me a great consultant. If that's just the way I'm built. If
Yeah.
there's something wrong, that's just where my eyes and my
Right.
sensitivities go to. But there was nothing wrong in that hotel.
Mm.
Everything was all good. The aesthetics when you walked in, the feel, the temperature. I don't even know that I adjusted the temperature in the room.
Wow.
It was just good. It was just good. It was perfect for me and my longtime friend. We had not gotten together in so many years,
Oh
but
my.
it was the kind of friend that you don't lose time with. As soon as you
Yes.
see each other, it's like you've been together, every
Mm.
day. And
Yeah.
so it was just perfect for us to fellowship together in again in a place like Dubai. Dubai was an experience like none other. For me, having traveled a lot in my life, I would say that it was the best trip I've ever had, just because they've turned that city/state into an oasis. It's beautiful. And there's so much to do there. There's more to do there than I've ever experienced on a trip. And it makes you want to do it. It makes you want to
Right.
experience. It makes you want to experience it. There's just something about the vibe. And the price was phenomenal. Based
Mhm.
on everywhere I've ever gone before in my life, what we paid there was
Mhm.
less than every other place I've ever visited in my life.
This
And
is
that's internationally. And
yes.
yeah, and I've never gone that far before. I've never
Mhm.
traveled
That was
that
the
far
furthest for me.
before. That was the furthest for me, but I
Mhm.
paid the least to
Ain't
go.
that something? Yes.
Yes, I experienced the most, traveled the furthest, and paid the least.
Did y'all catch that? Say that
Yeah,
one more time, woman of God.
I
Mm.
experienced the most, traveled the furthest, and paid the least
Mm.
that
That's
I ever paid to travel. And I've been to the Bahamas
mhm.
several times on cruises, like 2 or 3 cruises. I've
Mhm.
been to Mexico. I've been to Toronto, Canada.
Mhm.
And I've been to, seems like I've been somewhere else out of the country, but I've paid
Mhm.
more to go to
Right.
all those places.
My. You saying
And
something.
Jamaica.
Jamaica. Oh,
Yeah.
we gonna talk about that Jamaica because we got
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
back. We got to talk.
So so what brought me to Travorium was Dubai.
Mhm.
I felt like I wanted to go to Dubai.
Mhm.
I was just, it was a time with the Lord. I was
Mhm.
just asking the Lord, and I had been reading the Jabez prayer about
Mhm.
enlarge my territory.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it was in the Lord just led me in the way of travel, to
Mhm.
enlarge my territory in the way of travel. And he said Dubai.
Mhm.
And so Ambassador Sherry, I was connected through her
Mhm.
through my consultancy, Penn Star Communications. She and I got connected several years ago, and I consulted with her about her ministry. And
Mhm.
she just took the information I gave her and just started to put it in place. As I'm sure you're not surprised, she put it in place just like immediately. And I mean, she is just magnificent.
That's my girl.
She is. And I just
Mhm.
watched her. I was
Mhm.
like, I love game changers like her, because
Mhm.
I follow some of the people that used to be on my show and that I consult. And I just love people like that. They just take it and they just run with it.
Right.
There's no stopping them. They don't wait on permission. They don't need permission. I mean, they are fearless. They are
That's
more
right.
fearless.
That's right.
I wish I were more like them. I will go into analysis paralysis,
Oh wow.
but they are just like, they will just go. And
Mm.
so that's what I watched her do. And that's how I got connected to her. And when
Mhm.
that Dubai hit my spirit and my mind,
Mhm.
then I saw Sherry with this opportunity about
Yeah.
Dubai. And that's how I learned about Travorium.
Wow. Now it takes us back to when Ambassador Sherry and I began to plan that Dubai. The vision for it was what we had did in Hawaii, to have not only the recreational experience, which we sure enough did. Well, I got some videos of us in that sand on them camels and everything else. We had us a wonderful time. But the highlight for me were the moments when we had Bible study, we had prayer calls, and
I love it.
I had prayer with an individual from Pakistan, a brother that lived there. He asked me to pray with him and his family. his wife, who for many years has been barren. I'm waiting to hear back from this brother, and I'm believing God with them, that God is going to move. And just to have other interactions with people who live there, to see how God, as they say, the globe has shrunk. Some of the relationships and calls that I'm on now are a result of the time that I spent there, and those relationships and our relationship, and others connected to us, being able to see how much we have in common and our vision, how it runs parallel, and iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
And that whole thing, the relational ministry aspect, to me, as beautiful as the city was, and as beautiful as the time, man, we had dinner in the sky. It blew out all of that blew my mind. Don't get me wrong. But the most beautiful thing for me were the ministry moments and the relationships. Getting with y'all, going to have them late night snacks out there on the top. look at the get in the pool and say, oh no, the pool's closed. It's 11:30 at night. Remember that?
Yes. All of that was good. You're so right though. And you're so right. I mean, because I was about to have a meltdown when I thought I was not going to make the meeting time with you all, and the prayer and the presentation, because we almost missed our dinner in the sky and it got bumped up to a later one. Yes. And to spend that time with you all, that was like one of the most valuable times of all. So you're so right.
Oh my God. So right. I'm going to go back and grab some of those pictures today. That restaurant, I can't remember the name of it. It escapes me, but it spins and rotates. And I mean, just the ambiance that was there. It was like, I mean, they say 5-star, man. That thing was 100-star. So we got some friends that are planning to go back this fall, and we're probably going to do that with them. So we're very excited about that. But woman of God, do this for me. So that was your introduction. But you had heard about the club before. So I want you had never heard about the club before. That was your first experience. Okay. Yes. Wow. Okay. So you came in just off of her word and just off of her testimony.
Just off of God telling me I wanted to go to Dubai.
Look at that. Good God.
But really, yeah, just off of her word as well about Trevorium. Yes. Now, I wanted to check it out fully. I wasn't really completely sold, I guess, until I made it to Dubai.
So let me check this out. Right.
Now, pretty much. I attended some meetings, some Zooms, but I didn't know. I read about it. Yeah, I didn't know.
Wow. We have a few beautiful people coming in. We have Sierra. Hey, baby girl. Thanks for chiming in. Dr. Phyllis, it's good to see you, darling. Amen. Tyrone is in the house. You better call him. Minister LaPonda, thanks for chiming in, sweetheart. Now, listen, we're going to talk about this thing because I've seen a shift in you. Your gears have been moving. You were looking at it from the side of the receiving side of the discounts. But as of late, you've now begun to enter into the space of developing this into a stream of income. And our subject tonight is no limits. Now, you're a person who has literally, man, the career path you've had from I'm still, man, she worked with Charles, this type of thing. So you've done some things, you've been some things, you've been making things happen. Why would someone of your stature who has done what you've done, been in the rooms that you've been in, wanna use something as this, not only to travel, but to create income? Tie that into this conversation of no limits. What have you seen? Is there a testimony that you heard? Is there some evidence you've seen? What is it that you know that maybe other folk don't know yet?
What I know is that I am led by God the way that I started. And I thank you very much for seeing my background and my career as one of value. But, even when I was in Georgia doing those things and I would meet people and tell them who I was or what I did, they would say the same thing. They were like, you don't use your background and what you've done the way you should. But I never lead with those things because they are not who I am. I am a child of God.
My God.
Yeah, I am a child of God. And so I don't believe God gave me those opportunities and allowed me to go into those rooms and work with those men to use their names and their positions and who they are to build myself up. I don't believe he did that. So I believe he did it purely just to pour into me and my relationship with him and to use my gifts to pour into them. And I hope that we are both better for them. I believe that we are. The Lord allowed me to have close relationships with both those giants. I had a close relationship with Charles Stanley and with Creflo Dollar. I remember when I first had met directly with Charles Stanley. We kicked it off. I was afraid to direct him in his radio session. I was like, I can't tell this man what to do. But I did, and we ended up having the best relationship, best rapport. He would not pass me without stopping to see how I was doing and give me a hug and talk to me. I was truly one of Charlie's angels. So we had a great relationship. I had a great relationship with Creflo Dollar. I remember when I first had a meeting with him and his wife, and we were in a board meeting with some other team members. He stopped and he said, you remind me of a young Della Reese. and I said, well, I'm glad you said young. And he said, oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we were big buds after that. So
I know that's right.
There was something that happened with both of them that caused us to be big buds after our first meeting. So the Lord allowing, yeah. So you're right. I've been in the rooms with men that could pay to have anything they want from anyone they want.
No limit.
And they would call me to get it done sometimes.
That says something.
So
what do you see for yourself now based upon the evidence that they saw that you're now connecting to this more than just saving money, but creating income with no limits?
I know the Lord wants to use it. He wants to use it in my life. And that's why I'm so careful with it. That's why I couldn't run out and use it as a sales piece. I couldn't just jump up and start saying Trevorium this or Trevorium that. I had to wait on the right strategy or the right person or the right opportunity to move with it. Because I follow the glory cloud. I have to go, and I believe you are a part of that. So, yeah, I can't tell you much more right now. I think I've been a lot more articulate up to this point, but that's just where I am with it right now.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you blessed me already. And for the benefit of those watching, listen, we got Lady Sharon is in the house. Thank you for chiming in. For the benefit of the woman of God just being so humble about it, let me say it this way, y'all. We are part of a multiple trillion-dollar industry. That's clue number one. There's a lot of great stuff out there that people can get involved with, and maybe you're passionate about things that people are doing with the health industry, with the financial industry, the credit industry, jewelry, cosmetics. It's all kind of stuff out there that people can do very well in. Huge industries, but the majority of those, vast majority of those, are multiple billion-dollar industries. Travel, however, is on the other side of the line. It is a multiple trillion-dollar industry. At the present moment, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $9 or so trillion annually being spent. But the experts have projected that over the next 8 to 9 years, this thing is going to grow by more than 50%. We are in a major growth sector. It is a phenomenal amount of growth that's happening, particularly because of Generation X, Y, and Z. Young folk, as some folk would say, don't keep their hips at home. They are always gone. Look, we used to get on buses. They getting on planes. I mean, they teenagers, they getting on planes, and and they're doing things where we used to, for spring break, we used to hope we can go to the, around the corner somewhere or up the block. They in a whole other continent for their spring break. So there's a lot of things that have affected the growth of the industry, but we're just on the front side of it. So over the next 9-10 years, guys, it's going to do nothing more than explode. And this travel club has become not the new kid on the block, but really the shift. The paradigm happened when all the companies that are out there, they use a retail strategy. They buy in bulk, and then they sell at a profit because they're selling to us at retail. They're buying wholesale. What this company does different, it doesn't make any money off of the travel itself. Now, I'm a travel agent as well. My wife and I, we've been travel agents for the past 12 years. We've enjoyed it. We've been and we've sent people all around the world and back, sometimes 30, 40 or more at a time. So we're very much acquainted with that. But that's always based upon the retail model. The top companies out there, in fact, OTAs, online travel agencies, such as Expedia, Priceline, and you can probably think of a whole bunch of other companies where they're all under one of those two families, Expedia and Priceline, at least 85% of them. Those companies, those two companies, they are two of the fastest growing companies on the internet today. If you did a top 10 search, fastest growing, largest companies online today, of course, you're going to have Amazon, you're going to have Google and all those guys, but Expedia and the Priceline family are going to be there. Why are they there? They don't own anything travel related. They don't own the cruise lines. They don't own the airlines. They don't own the hotel or the resort, but they are marketers, and they are able to market pricing that is above what is being paid for it. That makes their profit. So what this company does, Trevorium, it gives you a monthly membership. And I want you to get with the person that's sharing this with you, because they can even answer more questions for you. But I tell you, this is a matter of fact, you will never get better pricing than you'll get in this club. I mean, the worst case scenario you'll get with us without being a travel agent is travel agent pricing. That's the worst case scenario. Travel agent pricing without being a travel agent. That's what attracted me. Now, November will make my 7th year in the club. And we've seen people, come on, spend thousands, multiple thousands of dollars to do what we're doing for hundreds or sometimes less. Let's talk about July. What's coming up in July? Talk to us about that, woman of God.
Montego Bay.
Yes.
I get to go back to Jamaica this time for less. This time
I know that's right.
Travel for less. And this will be special because I will be following the authors. And so I will be following the Trevorium authors.
It's exciting. I'm excited for every one of the authors who took place in the Going Places project. God gave me vision for that about 2 years ago. Shout out to Minister Lisa. I see her there. First Lady Kendra. I don't see any of the others on, but we have about 10 ladies who helped to co-write this book. It's called Going Places, and it's a game changer. Not only was it their testimonial, but that book includes everything on the backdrop of travel. So it's just powerfully, creatively written in a way that it's an easy read, but it's deep. I know you know some deep testimonials in there, but we're excited that we're locking arms with you, woman of God, because writing what you've written, you're gonna have the opportunity to speak on that as well. We also have Apostle. I'm putting this out, y'all. Look, y'all didn't know this. We got the man of God, Apostle H.D. Wilson. He has a new book coming out, soon to be released. He's going to be getting me some information on that. He and Lady Beverly, Pastor Beverly, are going to be joining us as well. So we're excited about that.
Wow.
Now he's been to 60 plus nations.
Wow.
Phenomenal ministry the world over. And we're going to be locking arms on. So we're going to have a lot of fun there this summer. The Lord say the same in Montego Bay, Jamaica. But we're going on a mission. It's going to be a powerful mission accomplished. It's going to be ministry moments that are going to be priceless. I believe that some people will carry in their hearts for the rest of our lives. And we're going to have a whole lot of fun on it. So, guys, let me just tell you this before we wrap this up. It is good to see you, Karina. Pastor Samuel, thank you for chiming in. Glad, man, we got to talk. We got to talk. Let me wrap this up this way because we're going to get on a Faith Leaders call in the next 15 minutes, and we definitely want to hear all of what's going to go down on that call. But in summary, and I'm going to give you the closing comments, Minister Lisa. In summary, we are part of a worldwide travel club called Trevorium. That literally, if you're a part of this club, there's no limits to two things. How much money you can save on your travel. If that's all you want to do, you could save thousands upon thousands. Just last year alone, my wife and I, we enjoyed a week stay here in the city of San Antonio at one of the best hotels, our favorite hotel. And rather than paying the almost $1,500 to $2,000 for the week, we paid about $250 for the entire week. We spent the week in Vegas. We paid $99 at that 4-star hotel. If we were not in this program, we would have paid every bit of $1,500 or more. We went to Maui and Honolulu, and the night rate alone at that hotel, we paid the night rate, but we stayed there 4 nights. For the night rate, what other people were paying. Other people were paying $650, $750 a night. We didn't even pay that for 4 nights combined. Then we spent about 5 days in Miami, and that was similar to Hawaii. The price structure of that right off the strip there paid about $400, but that thing would have been $600, and that was for 4 nights. Would have been about $600 plus a night. And then we met you in Dubai. And then we did a cruise. With all of that together, woman of God, there are people who are paying more for one trip than we had for 6 together.
Wow.
So the benefit of what I'm saying is there's no limits, of course, to how much you can save with the club. But in the same way, there are also no limits to how much you can earn in this club. I'll just give a testimony of my coach, my big sister, and you know and love her well too, Coach Deborah Taylor. When her husband, Apostle Guy, passed away almost 3 years ago, his business was, Dr. Renee, I see you there. His business was earning in the neighborhood of about $25,000 a year, and he passed away. Mm-hmm. In most traditional businesses, when the key business owner passes away, what happens? In most cases, the business is gone. In most cases, not all, but in most cases. Well, let's see what happened to his business. In his absence, while he is celebrating Jesus in the presence of God, his business grew from $25,000 a year to well over $170,000 a year. By the end of this year, it's projected that his business will close out annually well over $200,000 a year. Mm. And his wife is equally blessed, Coach D. So my point is this: there's no limits. And her testimony is this: she was a corporate American exec, grossing 6 figures. Took her all of 20 plus years to get to that level. But at the end of her career, y'all, they gave her a slip. She said it was not a pink slip. She said hers was blue. I guess they ran out of the color paper that day. I don't know. But they gave her that slip and they canned her. And the thing was, there was nothing she could do about it. All of that went away. This is a business that you're able not only to earn unlimited income, the only limit is ourselves, but you can pass it on to your children. They have a willable trust in the name of their grandchildren. By the time their grandchildren are 18 years old, let me tell you something, they will be multiple millionaires because of what their granddaddy and their grandmom did six years ago. So ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I hope you've gotten the thrust of what we're saying. There's no limits. The only limit is ourselves. If you are a person of faith, if you're a person of work ethic, if you're a person of integrity, that's who we're looking for. We want to work with you. We want to lock arms with you. We want to help you to get to where you want to be based upon what your goals and what the vision of the Lord is for you. We're not going to give you your goals. You got your own. We're not going to give you your vision. God gives you that. But allow us to lock arms with you and show you the process of doing those two things better than you can do it anywhere else. Saving money and making money from a travel club that's changing lives all around the world. Minister Lisa, I want to turn it over to you, dear, and just give us any closing comments, and then we're going to jump on this other call, this faith leaders call that, and matter of fact, let me just say it this way. In the comment section, or go to my page, go to Minister Lisa's page. Let us know if you want to be a part of that faith leaders call, because it's a private Zoom and you want to be seated in the Zoom room, and we'll get you the ID for that right after she shares with us her closing comments.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this talk tonight. As he said, you can find my page at Lisa M. Faulkner. And as I have shared tonight, Penn Star Communications is also a page that's always up and active. But I couldn't say anything any more well than Pastor Mel has said, as he has so eloquently shared about the opportunity, the business. It is no limits. And that is what piqued my interest and what continues to pique my interest. When I was praying to God about enlarging my territory, that was exactly what this allowed me to do. It enlarges your territory in a way that there are no limits. It is up to you, because your gifts can be used in any way that you choose to use them, because there are so many opportunities that you can tap into. And it's just you finding out how you want to use your opportunities and use your gifts. And so that is what I was waiting on as I shared with Pastor Mel, the right niche, the right opportunities, the right people, the right ways to plug into and use my gifts and use everything that my ministerial gifts have brought me to at this point in my career. You know, there's one study I always remember that I did a long time ago with God, and it's called Experiencing God by Henry Blackaby. And there's a part in it where it says, Lord, allow me to find you at work and join you there. I believe that's what Trevorium offers me, and it offers others as well, to join him find him at work and join him there. Because as I said in this talk before, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and all they that dwell therein. The Lord is at work everywhere in the earth, wherever we go. So we can join him wherever we go and travel, and find him creating new opportunities and new rest and new pleasure for us wherever we travel. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I certainly have. So until we meet again, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for listening. Bye.